Hello guys and welcome to SteveKnows. Today we have amazing advancements in the VR space, Cambria info, new games, new updates, and crazy uses of XR tech. So I think that is enough chin wagging, let's get started. So this one is a feature that many of us have wanted from our Quest headsets, and that is the ability to have live stream integration so we can stream with the Oculus Quest or any VR headset really, because it can be quite cumbersome. We did have the Facebook group live stream feature, but honestly, streaming to Facebook personally is not at the top of my list of platforms. It seems the developer of one of the best hand tracking experiences. You may have seen the game popping up actually, because recently since the 2.0 update, people have been showing this off. So this is called Rogue Ascent, and it is integrated Twitch streaming with their title. So you can live stream gameplay, communicate with your viewers, and the viewers can even trigger in-game events. And the viewers do this by spending things called bits, which is like a Twitch virtual currency. So the viewers can give the player assistance, or they can cause you even more pain, depending on how they are feeling. So this is such a great achievement and a stepping stone, and I didn't want this feature to go unmissed. There is an entire page on this feature if you want to go further in, and I will link that down below in the description as well as the game if you wanted to check it out, because it's $20 I believe on App Lab, and it is considered one of the best hand tracking games around. You have little finger guns, and with hand tracking 2.0, hand tracking games are so much more playable now. Hopefully YouTube integration comes as well, that could be another step, but not sure if the YouTube API is actually available for that to happen. I'd love to see more developers doing this as well, since Oculus or Meta, are not giving us the features that we actually want. The developers can implement it themselves. So VR once again taking gaming to that next level, and I absolutely love it. So thank you to Click Games. There's also a new Pimax headset, which is a shame actually due to the reliability reputation of this supplier, but they do love to push the limits on what we believe a headset can be. And the next one, which has just popped up, is the Pimax Crystal QLED, not to be confused with the 12K that we saw late last year. So this new headset is supposed to be a new rival to Vario's Aero, which is a premium consumer VR headset, which I do actually have a dedicated video on, but in short, it's really expensive and simple, but highly effective. Its clarity was like nothing I'd ever seen before, and it also has eye tracking. But it did have warping around the edges of your screen, which was kind of a pain, and of course no controllers for nearly a $2,000 price point. The Pimax Crystal will be coming for $1,900, expected to drop in Q3, just before their 12K Beast releases. So the headset will have a standalone capability, so it'll be a hybrid headset using an XR2 chipset with eye tracking, expecting to have a 42 ppd with a diagonal FOV of 120, or a 35 ppd with a 140 degree FOV, which is really good. That is so dense. 35 I believe is what Aero advertised, but what they didn't tell you, Aero actually can achieve more than that, but they didn't advertise it, which is interesting. What's more interesting here though is that the headset's actually modular, so the user can swap out lenses on this device to accommodate this different PPD and the different FOV. It also will support a wide gig wireless communicator to the PC, so you can have wireless experiences. It also will support Wi-Fi 6E by default, meaning it can run at the higher frequency band, which should relate to less latency. It also has higher refresh rates, reaching 160Hz and inside-out tracking. And if you wanted, I said this was modular, you can get a faceplate for $200, which will enable Steam VR head tracking as well. But for this headset, it sounds like we need to upgrade our rigs. And with the chip shortage hopefully coming to a close soon, it's probably time to upgrade our PCs. The headset does sound pretty impressive. Definitely an enthusiast device. It's definitely premium, and should you buy it? I don't know. I'm probably gonna have to try it, because when you've got something that's reasonably priced at $300, it's kind of hard to think, should you shed out like nearly, what was it, 6 times more for another headset? I'll just have to get my hands on one and try it out, because on paper it seems great, but in person Pimax often are not as much sunshine and rainbows as you're led to believe. So I spoke about this one in my latest modification video. If you want to check that out, I've got 2 videos on flat screen games that you can play in VR. So please check out the channel. I've done 2 parts, so I cover 20 games with 30 more to come. So this title is called Firewatch. The modification has been made publicly available for free now. You will still have to buy the game, of course, on Steam, but it's not a AAA price point. Or if you've got Xbox Game Pass on the PC, the game's available on there too, and you can use the modification on that. So I'll link it down below in the description. It's a GitHub now instead of a Patreon. And this mod is better known as Two Forks. And I do recommend checking out the Patreon as well, though, because there are other mods available that may interest you. So you would just download the zip file, extract its contents, and drag and drop the Firewatch executable that you've got on your computer onto the Two Forks installer. Easy peasy. Oh, and the game is motion controlled. How could I forget that? It's motion controlled supported as well, which is huge. So you don't need to use a joypad to enjoy this title. You can actually move your arms, which is quite rare in some of these mods. And since the game is not optimized for virtual reality, please check out the tips on the GitHub page, which will give you some troubleshooting tips and some gameplay settings to use for the best possible experience in virtual reality. We have one more incredible tech story now before I go on to something creepy and onto the virtual reality game. So some of you may have seen the Black Mirror episode where they're in VR and bros become, let's say, close. It seems they have a brain-controlled virtual reality device, and we could be seeing the first steps now for that to become a mainstream thing, as Vario are now implementing a BCI, which is a Galea kit, a brain-controlled interface into their Aero headset. And that kind of tech is not going to come cheap, because this is at the bargain price of $22,500, and that's discounted by 10%. Galea may sound familiar, and that may be because there were some initial rumors and talk going around about them integrating this technology into a Valve VR headset or an Index. So the tech is actually integrated into a head strap, making it look like something from a sci-fi movie. Well, the tech itself actually sounds like it's something from a sci-fi movie. So it can read your brainwaves and take action in your game or your application based on those brainwaves. So if it could read your waves, maybe one day it can write them and we could have a zombified VR army. But on a serious note, if you're worried about data farming before, this one may scare you a little bit. But Galea have spoken out on the data privacy laws and what they're doing to keep your data secure. And there's a great video on this in their presentation at AWE last year that is definitely worth checking out. So pre-orders of this headset are now open if you're genuinely interested. And if you do get one, can you invite me around, please? Because I would love to try it. Or if you're watching, guys, this story, this is just, it's completely bonkers, but also very interesting and perhaps feasible in the year it expects this to happen. So by the time I retire, I'll be an old man, hopefully making videos in VR, so I'll be 76. So in the year 2070, experts believe it will be commonplace to have virtual babies that will grow in real time. So Catriona Campbell is an AI expert in the UK and has made this claim that a subscription service will exist in 2070 of having a child. As VR and AR tech evolves, as well as the peripherals, so we have some really good haptics such as gloves, apparently 1 in 5 parents could opt in for a virtual baby to help tackle a population crisis, which is interesting because other experts actually debate this. We'll probably grow to about 11 billion, and once we get to that point, we'll start regressing. But anyway, this article is huge, so I'll link it down below. You can have a nice read if you want to see how you would raise one of these virtual children. I personally am not buying into this being a legitimate option rather than something novel. What should I name my child? Top comment wins. So let's talk about games now, and then we'll talk about the Cambria. So quick note, the mixed reality demo that Meta showed off, where the Zuckerberg was showcasing the Cambria headset in the recent tease that we had, that game is now available for you to play via App Lab on your Quest 2. So I'll link it down below so you can try it out, but you will need a 2 meter by 2 meter play space, which is just over 6 foot each way. So you'll map out your play space, your walls, and then enjoy some terrible grey, low resolution pass-through mixed reality content. And Oppie will be controlled using voice commands, which I found pretty cool. And you'll find energy orbs around your room using a flashlight to give her the energy required to get home. So enjoy that mixed reality content, designed not for the Quest 2, but you can enjoy it on that. Which kind of leads me to believe, well, we already know this, the Cambria is ever so close. It's this year. It's definitely this year. We also have the developer of Ziggy's Cosmic Adventure posting a lengthy gameplay of around 7 minutes on Reddit, and it looks pretty sweet. The visuals of this game actually look fantastic. So in the game, you'll fly a spaceship around, and whilst you're doing this, you'll be avoiding obstacles or shooting down enemies in space. But it's not that simple. You will have to manage the operation of your ship, and the developer called this power management, depending on what functionality you want to use whilst flying. You also have these little cute friends around called Ziggies. They're cute little alien creatures, but you do sadly exploit them for battery power. That poor little thing. Watching this gameplay, it's become very apparent that this game is not going to be this crazy, expansive sort of experience where you can land on a planet, walk around, but it looks like an objective-based space flight simulator that could be fun because it sure looks pretty. We also have something called Blockstar coming to PC VR and the Quest platform, which is a shooter that's apparently going to test your reflexes. Watching the trailer, it's really hard to tell what's going on, so I had to slow it down and look this up online. So Blockstar is apparently a TV show, and you are the star. You'll have 40 missions to complete in the story mode and a tournament mode to play. So it seems like you have to shoot certain blocks as they come towards you. There are some explosive blocks that will have a blast radius. There are multiplier blocks to give you more points, and others that you want to avoid. There will also be power-ups and different weapons, so it has a really arcadey feel to it from what I can grasp. But I feel like I really need to try this game because I'm not completely sold on it based on the trailer. I'm not sure what's going on. I'm hoping it's going to be more fun to play than what it looks like, because it looks like a brick breaker on steroids sort of experience. And finally, sadly, it's Bradley's Patreon Cambria dump. I'll link it down below in the description because I'm not going to take everything from it. I think that'll be quite cheeky because he put this information out there on his Patreon. It's free, by the way, so you can check it out yourself, but I don't want to just steal all of his content, so I'll just put out some interesting tidbits from it. So he put out some images based on all of his insights and inside information that he's managed to get to show off the Cambria, as well as features that should be coming in future updates based on some of the insider information. So the images show a USB-C port, which we kind of expect, used for file transfer and the Oculus Link. There's also an exposed wire from the front of the headset to the back of the head strap, which is a way to get power from the counterweight battery that they have on the back of the head strap to the front of the headset, which means the battery's not going to be at the front, which means it's going to be lighter. And also looks like the device will be using pancake lenses, which means it will be closer to your face, reducing the leverage point, which in turn reduces the feeling of the weight on your face. So no battery and less pressure. It's going to be way more comfy to use this headset. There's also a dial at the front of the device, which is expected to either be an IPD adjustment or how far or close the lenses are to your eyes. So that should add another dimension of adjustment, which I have no idea how that's going to be. It could help increase your FOV, because pro tip, if you're on your Quest, if you take off the kind of the facial interface and you get your eyes really close, your FOV increases, but it's not very comfortable. The device shows 2 cameras, and it shows also a high-resolution camera, 16-megapixel one, which its purpose is apparently to add color to the other feeds, including an IR sensor for depth data used for mapping the environment accurately, and will give better hand tracking capabilities, including IR cameras on the inside for eye and face tracking. He did post some expected specs as well, which doesn't seem that out there and that crazy. I like to see the Wi-Fi 6E. That is something I did hope for better wireless connectivity, and of course, more RAM. As for the cloud information as well, we did speak about this in the last video, that the Quest could be getting a cloud streaming service called Avalanche. Bradley's insider gave them a link to a 5G connectivity article when talking about the cloud platform together, giving rise to the potential of VR and AR anywhere, which is part of Meta's metaverse vision. And the fact that I could take my Quest anywhere, perhaps the woods, and play some high-end PC VR games sounds epic. There is even more on this post as well. There is so much there, so I will link it down below in the description. Thank you to Bradley. His musings have kept him up all night on many occasions. An absolute legend. I will link his channel down below. He is definitely one to follow. So that's it from me today, guys. Thank you for watching to the end of the video. Please click subscribe. A little action, but it helps me out massively. And don't forget to have a great week. Enjoy VR. Happy gaming, guys. Good day.